Hi, I'm Gavin, one of the directors at SOS. Today we're going to take you through the main problems people come up against when training arms. One of the problems people make when training arms is they will use the same grip for every implement that they use. So for example, James here is using an underhanded grip with a barbell. That's one of the main exercises they'll start with to hit the biceps, which it does. But once they normally go through the program, they'll use an underhanded grip there. They'll finish their reps and sets, and they'll move on to something like a seated dumbbell curl, but still using the same grip. Then they may change repetitions, and then they'll go to a cable, using a straight bar with an underhanded curl again. So it's the same bicep head that they're hitting all the time, with the same muscle group. So we see James started with the barbell curl in the hand. Normally then they will go to this grip, same grip, using different implement, which could change the effect, but he's still hitting the same angle on the bicep with the grip. And we see James again using a different implement, which is a cable, which does provide constant tension, but again, the same grip, using a supinated or palms up grip on a bicep grip. So one variation you can use is, to change the grip, is to use an overhand grip. So it's a pronated grip. It's going to put the forearm in a different position and hit another muscle head in a different way to train the biceps at a different angle. So here James is using an overhanded grip with a fat grip underneath the bone. Okay, so you can still use the seated dumbbell curl as planned, but in this variation James is using a neutral grip, or what some people know as a hammer curl. So again, places the elbow in a different position, so we'll hit a different angle on the bicep. So one other common mistake that people make is using the same implement, regardless whether they train the biceps or triceps. It's normally, for example, dumbbells. They use dumbbells for every exercise. Whereas if you notice in one of the clips we just had, we've used a barbell, we used a dumbbell, and then we used a cable. So each one of those will give a different emphasis on the muscles that you're trying to train. Barbells and dumbbells will hit the muscle at a certain angle when you're training that muscle, whereas if you use something like a cable, it should provide constant tension throughout the full range of motion you can use. So changing implements throughout the full program for that muscle will be much more beneficial. Another common mistake that you'll tend to see with training arms is having the elbow position in the same position for every exercise. An example would be somebody trains standing bicep curls, which is a great exercise, but the elbows are right by the side of the body. Then they'll go and do a seated bicep curl. In this position, again, my elbows are right by the side of the body. So you're training the same angle of the shoulder in that position. So what you can do, and what we'll show with James right now, is James can now train his elbow, which is in front of the body on a preacher curl or a Scott curl. So you can see the line is going in front of the body as he does the bicep curl. So his elbow position is in front, and he's going to perform 2 reps. As soon as you performed your repetitions, your next exercise, if you do a superset or a tricep, or it could be the next exercise in your training program, you could then put your elbow position behind the body, so you can start on an incline curl on a bench. So now you've put your arms in front of the body. Another exercise you can do is on an incline. So this could be 60, 45, 30 degree. But the arms are now related behind the body. So you'll hit a different angle on the biceps. This will put it in a different position. So James at a 45 degree angle. Now the higher you start, the less stretch on the biceps. The lower you go, the more stretch you're going to put more on the long end of the bicep. So that'll target that muscle much more. Okay, and last elbow position you can use is obviously, again, elbows by the side of the body. So you've utilized in front, you've then gone to behind the body, got more stretch for the long end of the bicep, and then you can finish in a strong position with the elbows right by the side of the body. And as well as using these for biceps, that can be said of the triceps as well. So again, normally people will stand and do tricep pushdowns, elbows by the side of the body. They fail to sometimes use close grip bench press or tricep decline extensions, for example, where your arms are in front of the body. You can also do French presses, which is putting your arms above head. Okay, so there's other variations of arm angles and elbow positions to hit the muscles at different angles. One thing that's going to inhibit your gains when you're training arms is bad technical form when you're performing the exercises. So James is going to show you the preacher curl or Scott curl with bad form right now, and then he'll show you the good form. So as you can see with James here, he's rounding his body over the bench. So this is putting a lot of emphasis on the back to come up. And what you tend to do when you fatigue is you start to swing the barbell up from the low back. Okay. Now if you look at the better technique to perform, a better position to be in is the stomach is up against the pad, okay? You retract your shoulders and keep your chest lifted at all times. This is going to place a lot of emphasis on the initial pull of the bicep curl and make the biceps work a lot harder. Okay, so another technical fault that you'll see on the incline curl, for example, James is going to produce now, is when they curl up, especially when you get fatigued, the elbows will start to come forward more. So as you can see, as he pulls the elbows forward, he's not actually using the bicep, he's starting to recruit the anterior shoulder. And that's actually working more than the bicep then. So you're taking the emphasis and tension off the bicep. Okay, so the correct way to use the incline curl is you want to keep the humerus, the top part of the arm, pointed downwards towards the floor. And the only part that moves is the bottom part of the arm. So you're hinging at the elbow. You keep this pinned and you can put more emphasis on the muscle. Okay, so one emphasis you'll see on the bicep curl is when the person starts to swing and hinge from the hips. So they're using momentum to get the barbell up. So obviously the correct way to perform it now is, again, you're going to hinge from the elbow, making sure you emphasize the bicep recruitment rather than using the whole body to swing the barbell up. Okay, one problem you're going to come across when you're training arms is if the structural balance isn't correct within the shoulder joint itself as well. So it doesn't sound fancy, but it can help a lot when you're looking to improve arms in your training. So one thing for the triceps you'll notice is the elbows start to kick out when you're doing the extensions. So in that case, it can indicate weak external rotators. And so James is going to demonstrate what that looks like now. So as the dumbbells come down and go to push up, the elbows start to flare out. At this point, you need the external rotators to be nice and strong so that you can keep the elbows in line. So James will demonstrate the correct way that's going to look now. So with the elbows in line, the external rotator should be strong enough to keep the shoulders in line with the elbows, and you can place more tension on the triceps in that position. One common mistake you'll see when training arms also is not using correct full range of motion. Sometimes it can be beneficial to use partial ranges, but especially on exercises like preacher curls, a full range is much better because you'll hit as many muscle fibers as possible and recruit more muscles. So James will show you what it looks like to not use the correct range. So people tend to come up and then they'll go to a strongest point as they feel weaker at the bottom. On the preacher curl, this part that gets worked the most is the bottom range. So instead of going all the way down, people will stop and stay within the strongest range. Now if James goes all the way down, keeps it back upright, now using full range of motion on the bicep, and it will start to hit the muscle in its full potential. Not having a plan of attack is definitely going to be one of the main culprits of not being able to develop your arms effectively. So people can go into the gym and just start to do reps on any implement, any cable machine, train biceps more than triceps. So having the correct plan of attack is a better way to go. First thing you want to make sure is the first exercises that you're going to use in your plan are the ones that you can use the most weight on, because one, your nervous system is fresh and you can lift the most weight in that first exercise. And then you can start to prioritize different angles that we've shown you so far. So going from a short range in the bicep curl to mid-range to behind the back range, that will be a good start. If you can use chin-ups for your biceps, then you may start with that exercise instead of the preacher curl. So having a good structure going in, knowing what rep ranges you're going to use and what different angles you're going to start with is a better way to go when looking to maximize your program. One great way to enhance the development of your arms, you can start to use drop sets. So drop sets are basically increasing the time and the tension that you provide on that muscle, regardless if it's arms or chest or whatever. The drop sets will increase time and attention. Now, one way you can do a drop set is to use a mechanical advantage drop set. So basically with that in mind, you go from the weakest position for your repetitions, and then you start to move to a more advantageous position and allow more repetitions to be provided for that muscle group. So we're going to demonstrate those exercises with James now.